Alright, and we are back for part 2. So, if you haven't watched part 1, please watch that. That's where I actually go through, like, all the important stuff. But, we still have to manage our Legends contracts and do all that stuff still, and, we probably want to start booking, like, some good matches, and there's a pay-per-view coming up soon. Or, like, this week or something, so we need to really be concerned with that, in reality. But yeah, generally, any of our, like, big guys, anyone from, like, Mankind and up, we do really, I mean, I guess all the 11 weeks and up, yeah, we want to manage all these guys, which is a lot. We want to be putting them over, and we can't put every single person over, so we basically need to manage these guys as best as we can. Again, with morale, you want to manage morale. So JBL, he wants a shot at some WWE gold. Now, I think it depends on what popularity they are. If they're like 80 or above, I don't know this exactly, but if they're really high popularity, they won't settle for like a US title. However, I have noticed, I believe this to be true, that if you put them in a World Tag Team title match, they are happy. So that's actually something you can do. So I could put Chris Benoit and JBL in a world tag team match against my tag team champions, and this should satisfy him and make him happy. Again, you can make they don't need to win; they just need to be booked in a match with a title. Alternatively, what I can do is put JBL versus my world heavyweight champion, The Rock, and then have the managers be Steve Austin and Chris Benoit, because those two are in rivalries with The Rock and JBL. So that keeps their rivalries going, which, you know, they get more thumbs up on their rivalry, and then their popularity will both go up, and the matches get rated higher. That's really important. Rivals are really important. You always want to have rivalries going. And quickly, like, rivalries will depend on how popular the superstar is, the more it will last. So, for example, around 60, like, rivalries will start to get a thumbs down around 6 weeks, whereas anyone like 90 above in a rivalry, they can last 9 weeks up until you get the 3 thumbs up, and then you have to break them up, otherwise they will start to get the thumbs down. So yeah, you know, we got all our champions here, all pretty much the legends as champions, pretty much. And you see, rivalries have got up. So, again, anyone with a high enough popularity now is 2 thumbs up. So this is where we can actually go ahead and, like, book them in decent matches. And all the other guys have +1, just 1 thumbs up, except Chavo and Muhammad Hassan. Remember, we're jobbing out Chavo to Muhammad Hassan. The plan with Muhammad Hassan, again, you can keep him, but basically when Chavo's contract expires, you can just hire any jobber for like 5 weeks. It's dirt cheap, and then just keep making Muhammad Hassan winning. So his rival just goes up and up and up, and then we can trade him for like anyone we want from the other roster, as long as Muhammad Hassan has a higher popularity. And so what we do with him is wait until Muhammad Hassan has like 1 week left on his contract, and then trade him for anyone who's just below his popularity that has like multi-long week contract, and that just basically just gives us a guy to work with for like cheap, who has like a decent popularity. Everyone else, we basically focus them as if they're our main roster. We want to take care of our guys, you know, Undertaker, Batista, Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Eddie, Ray, and then yeah, all these legends. We really want to take care of them. Muhammad Hassan is only getting special treatment to bump his rivalry up, so we have a better like possibility to trade. So yeah. And again, I mentioned like pretty much everything else. Like, we have Chavo for 4 weeks. We effectively got this 5-week contract from this guy for free because we traded one of our jobbers. Like, we traded Davari for Chavo when Davari had like 1 week left and Chavo had 5. I explained all that in the previous segment, so make sure you watch that. If you haven't watched this already, that will contextualize everything and you'll learn a lot about general manager mode. But it wasn't really conclusive. I've been playing for like an hour there, and so let's just go ahead and get into the next stuff that we're doing. So, Judgment Day is coming up. That sounds ominous. And if you notice, there's like 8-week gaps between everything. So basically, Judgment Day. This is another benefit of Smackdown, right? If you notice, Raw has the first pay-per-view, which seems like a good deal, but they only have like 4 weeks to build up rivalries, whereas we've had like 8. So when we get to Judgment Day, we would have like 8-week rivalries with, you know, Batista versus The Undertaker will last for 8 weeks, and that match will be huge because they have 2 thumbs up. All of our rivalries have 2 thumbs up, except the new guys, like the legends we hired. So as long as we don't get a thumbs down before then, we can go ahead and book all of our big rivalries there with big blow-up matches, and then we'll get a huge payoff. on Judgment Day. But until then, we have to just make sure, manage our money. Just manage our money. That's very, very, very important. So main event, we'll do single with manager versus with manager. I'm going to put some... You know what, I'll just put JBL on the World Heavyweight title versus The Rock. Again, that is just because JBL wants a title shot. That is literally why. So we'll have, we'll just make sure that, again, the two guys in our rivalry, I explained all this in part 1, so make sure you watch that. Really, I don't stop saying that now because you get the idea. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch that. I'll link it in the description. The Rock and Steve Austin, who are in a rivalry in the same match. And JBL is in a rivalry with Chris Benoit, so we put him in. And then we'll make this for the World Heavyweight Championship. Huge match, right? Huge match. So we'll do that. And now we are going to go ahead and, again, we do a tag team match. We'll just do Tornado Tag instead of normal, make it a bit more interesting. Probably doesn't actually matter, but grab our tag team champions. Mankind and Bret Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart. You got to say it like that every time. And basically, we're going to put different people every week against them. Any two people in a rivalry against them. And what this is going to do is give these guys a title shot so they're less likely to be unhappy because they want a title shot because they've had one. That's the important thing. And it actually, really, I don't think it really matters if we let Eddie and Randy win this, in all honesty. I don't think it really matters that much. Now, Andre and Hogan, we want to make things a little bit interesting. So, again, if you want to make something a bit more interesting than just doing single matches all the time, but you don't want to fatigue you guys too much, or spend too much money, because we're trying to make money, we're trying to manage money, put them in a submission match. It just makes it a bit more interesting, so you don't just have a singles match between them every week. So we need to book that. Batista versus The Undertaker. Again, we did a submission match last week, I think, or maybe we didn't. We just do a normal single. You can also, I'm pretty sure it counts as different if you do, like, ultimate submission, even if it was, like, 10 minutes. Again, just use your imagination. This could be any match, really. You could do this as a backstage brawl segment, but, you know, instead of overly fatiguing your guys and paying a lot of money, you just kind of pretend that that's what's happening. So we'll do that. Now, we're going to try to book an interesting match, or I guess a different one. No, with manager versus with manager. We're going to do, I think Rick maybe is a champion. Maybe. Muhammad, Chavo. And then just make sure that, again, Ray wins, because we want Muhammad to win and go over Chavo. We want... Again, you can swap Ray and Rick if you want, just make sure that Chavo loses. Or, for example, if we simulate the result and the Rick and Chavo win, we can just swap Muhammad with Chavo. The other one doesn't really matter. So we'll do that. And then these guys were in a table match last week, I think, so I just do submission with these guys. Christian versus Booker T. Go. And yeah, I know I went past Booker T, but I just kind of... The reason why I do this is to just check if I'm missing anyone. Which I'm not. If you close your eyes, your life a naked truth revealed. Okay, anyway. So again, the cool thing about not having jobbers is we don't actually need to worry too much about the results here. Like, it doesn't really matter unless you want specific people to be champion. But, this is the only result that really matters. So again, if you don't have save states, I mentioned this last video. What I can do here is go in as Ric Flair and then grab a weapon and then hit Rey Mysterio, and then I get disqualified, so Rey and Muhammad win, which means Rick and Chavo lose. And it doesn't matter if Ric Flair loses, but we want Chavo to lose, because then we're going to get rid of him eventually and Muhammad Hassan goes over. So that's pretty cool. Everything else can be, like, Rey and Rick can be 50-50, it doesn't really matter. And, again, it's up to you if you really care about who has the tag team titles or anything like that. If people win a championship, I don't think they'll complain about not having a title shot if they are champion. I'm not 100% sure, but, like, this is a half-baked game mode, and I don't think it's really that complex. I think it's actually really simple, so, yeah. Like, simple stuff. Fan change, Smackdown again. We are gaining fans. 120k fans. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. Did I think I advertised. Yeah, I did. Okay. Let's see if it's different. The AI simulation will be different. Smackdown plus, it should be 100 something. 120, cool. Okay, sometimes it's different. Sometimes the enemy, like, book different stuff. Look at this, man. Look at this. This is crazy. 94 popularity on The Rock, man. This guy... I mean, it makes sense. Really, these legends like The Rock and Steve Austin and stuff should be, like, above 90 by default. It's just, like, a balancing they're not. It gives you wiggle room so you can put them to 100, because you can't go above 100. It's probably why, so, yeah. And again, these guys are kind of red arrows, but it doesn't really matter. Over time, they will go up. So, yeah. Cool. You see the rivalries, we got 1 or 2 thumbs up on each guy. Even Chavo versus Muhammad has 1 thumbs up. So that's pretty cool. Current champions, just to double check everything. And, yeah, Ray's still champion. Okay, cool. Need to make sure Andre, we've got him marked. And we go back, we'll go view roster, and then, look, we check the morale and everyone's happy, so it doesn't even matter what we do right now. It doesn't really matter. If anyone's unhappy next week, we can just sort that out next week. And again, no one's fatigued, so I don't have to worry about injuries. We're gaining a lot of money. This is pretty fucking good. So, Judgment Day is coming up, so what we can do is... do PPV hype. I don't even know if this is really worth a pay-per-view hype, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Cost 10k, and I think this actually does add some... I think it actually does make a difference. Like, you may as well use it. Otherwise, I don't know why they put that in the game, you know? I really don't know why they put PPV hype in the game. I call it PPV hype because... like, they probably could have fit, look, main event hype, but instead of pay-per-view hype, they just put PPV hype. They couldn't be fucked typing pay-per-view. That's really funny. Look at how long is this merchandise sponsorship, and then they couldn't even type pay-per-view hype. They just did PPV hype. That is very funny. Okay, enough of that. Enough talking about how... Again, this fucking... This is a really half-baked game mode. You can tell that they really didn't give a shit about this. It's amazing so many people remember this so fondly, because it's actually, like, such a rushed little game mode. It's, like, kind of really badly done. Anyways, tag team. Let's just do a tag team main event. To hype up the, we'll do like a 6-man tag to hype up the pay-per-view. Normal 6-man tag, and we will have all the opposing guys in rivalries. Do The Rock versus Steve Austin. We'll have Legend 6-man. This is going to be the most historic 6-man of all time. Steve Austin, Bret Hart, and Andre vs. Hogan. What an this is why people like this game mode, I guess. Like, you can really make matches like this. Look at that. What a stacked main event. 6-man tag with The Rock, Mankind, and Andre the Giant versus Steve Austin, Bret Hart, and Hulk Hogan. Jesus Christ. What the hell? What the hell? Why not? Okay, so we'll do that. And then... You know what, the intro, we're going to do, like the intro match, we'll do, again, Muhammad Hassan versus Chavo. I mean, it's a pretty realistic opening match on Smackdown. Like, this is one of those matches where we have a main event like this. The commentators, you know, I guess Michael Cole and Taz are just going to be talking about the main event during this whole match. They're going to be talking about, like, you guys want to watch later, the main event, blah, blah, blah. And then we have 4 slots still to do, so we're going to do a bunch of singles matches. Again, we can do stuff like a tables match with Christian Booker T. Or what we'll do, maybe Chris and JBL. Actually, no, I really should put these guys in a submission match instead. I only say that because Chris Benoit's a submission guy, so it probably makes a difference there. Chris Benoit, JBL, submission. I'll do a tag team match player with Randy and Eddie. Randy and Eddie. No, not Ray. We'll put them against Christian Booker T. Give these guys a chance to win a title or something. Might make him a bit happy. Christian Booker T versus Randy and Eddie, and we got 2 matches to book still. So we do I guess we can do a submission match. Oh no, we did normal submissions. We'll do ultimate submission, or we'll accidentally do the same thing. Ultimate submission. There we go. 10 minutes. I think you can just make them 60. That's like doing a 60-minute submission match, like ultimate submission, is probably just a way to get, I don't even know if it makes a difference between 10 or 60 minutes. I usually do 60, but the rivalry isn't really big, so I don't really bother. I don't really think it makes a difference. And then the penultimate match, we're going to do another ultimate submission. You know what we'll do? This will be like a blow-off submission. Batista with no submission moves versus The Undertaker, who... You know, he's got Hell's Gate, but he doesn't even have Hell's Gate right now. So, yeah, whatever. Again, none of these results matter. They're 50-50 booking, except this one. We want Muhammad Hassan to win. So, we'll simulate this and make sure, yeah, Muhammad Hassan wins. The rest of the results really don't matter. The Rock goes over. He's the World Heavyweight Champion, so that makes a lot of sense. And, yeah, these guys... It doesn't really matter who wins, but it's nice to just keep note of who is champion. And then look, this Sunday, Judgment Day hype. Make sure to tune in this week at Smackdown Presents Judgment Day. Tickets are now sold out for the event, but there is always room to watch at home on pay-per-view. Check it on www.com after the event to get all of the results and post-match recaps. And the Smackdown rating, do we go up or down? I missed the fan difference because I was reading the thing. Let's see. Raw must have won because we're really getting close to 5 million. But after this pay-per-view, holy shit, we're going to get a lot of fan change. The fan change was up for us. That's good. We gained 100k. Oh, we've taken the lead. How's that? We took the lead. How crazy is that? Okay, so. Look, we got quite a bit of money now. That's pretty good. And look, everyone's pretty smooth sailing up here. And, yeah. So. You gotta think about who you gotta rehire. Look, we've got 5 weeks to, like, give these guys a contract, and then we'll have another month to give our legends a contract again. So that's important. That's what we're saving all this money for, really. So, we now have the pay-per-view. This is, like, the important thing, right? This is the payoff. It's taken us 17 minutes to get here. Look at our rivalries. Now, Booker T and Christian, it's got a thumbs down now. Ray and Rick have a thumbs down, so that's bad, because if we put them in a match, it's bad for us. So what we can do is, retroactively, again, this is assuming you're saving between every week, is actually put Ray in a rivalry, start a rivalry with Ray and Christian. And then Ric Flair versus Booker T. So, rewind, and then we are gonna do, again, Christian Booker. We have to really change this. So, Ray versus, we'll do a singles match for this. Ray versus Christian. Now, this means that they won't have a significant rivalry, which is a bit of a shame, but it's better than having a thumbs down. So we're breaking these rivalries up because they're going to be thumbs down. So let's do this. Again, in part 1, I explained how to manipulate the results if you need to do that. But this is just going to start a rivalry with Ray and Christian. This doesn't start a rivalry, of course, but this really doesn't matter. We just need to make sure they're not thumbs down, because that's going to tank the ratings. So if we go to rivalry now, we're missing one, but we've got Christian versus Ray is now started. Again, there's no thumbs up, but it's good that we have no thumbs down. Otherwise, if we continue those rivalries and the 2 thumbs down, then if we couldn't put them in a match together, that rating of that match would really tank, and that would be terrible. That would be really bad for us. It doesn't really matter much. I mean, everything else is, like, pretty good, but yeah, it's important stuff overall. So, now we've got the pay-per-view. So what do we do for a pay-per-view? We're going to make this absolutely fucking stacked. Work from the top down. Okay, so make sure you know who your champions are. Rock's champion, Eddie's tag team, Ray's the cruiserweight, Andre the Giant is the US. We got all that written down. We know our rivalries. And so we work from the top down. So, main event. So, something that's worth mentioning is having stuff like Fatal 4-Ways, Battle Royals is actually bad, because what this does is it means one person wins and then 5 people lose. So 5 people go down in popularity, whereas only 1 goes up. That's something that's really important to know. Okay, so what we're going to do, I don't want to overbook all this and have everyone be injured and all that shit. I really don't want to do that. So we're going to put stuff that's like 3 stars. Sorry, not 3 stars, sorry. See the fatigue. 3 fatigue, and like table is like, these are like 3. I think TLC, again, is 3. These are the matches you would rather book. I wouldn't bother with a Hell in a Cell unless there was like a massive blow-off of a rivalry or something, and, you know, Hell in a Cell or Iron Man as well. Like, Iron Man, look at that, 5. Even if you're a 10-minute Iron Man, it's 5. Like, it's really, really half-baked, this mode. So, let's make the main event a First Blood with Rock and Steve Austin. This should put their rivalry up to 2 thumbs up. So we book them. That's pretty important. Now we can do... I'm going to do a table match with Andre versus Hulk Hogan. I mean, this is... I guess it's pretty cool. You can have Hulk Hogan body slam Andre through a table. You know, that's pretty hectic. That's pretty insane. So we'll do that. And then one thing we can do is... So a little secret, instead of TLC, what you can do is ladder. This is for your tag team, by the way. So ladder, triple threat tornado tag. This is a way to put 6 people in a match, a big match, which is just, again, I know I mentioned that this way 4 people lose and only 2 win, but the match is big and it just is like cool. And this is a way to put 3 teams together. Just 3 people in a rivalry together. Otherwise, you do just have the option of a ladder normal tag match or a TLC normal tag match. TLC is 13k, by the way, and ladder is 10k. So I don't actually know if the price affects much, but yeah. Tornado tag. It's a shame you can't do tornado tag with manager. It really doesn't matter that much, but yeah. Randy and Eddie are the tag team champions, so we'll put them in a match with Bret Hart and Mankind. And that's pretty cool. And then we got some grudge matches to do, right? Some real grudge matches still. So who do we have to book still? A lot of people that are really important to book. How do we go about this? 3 matches still. Okay, so we booked a Rock rivalry, Hogan rivalry, Bret Hart, Mankind, Randy, and Eddie. So we've got still quite a few people to book. So actually, what we can do is interesting. We can do, I guess, just a singles match, or actually, can we table with manager? No, we can't. We can do ladder single with manager, so we'll do that. Wait a minute. No, I'm stupid. I got rid of these rivalries. Okay. So I don't actually have to book as much as I thought. Sorry, I like confusing myself. It's probably like a dumb thing to do. So we still have like 5 rivalries to book across 3 matches, which does make this a little bit annoying to manage. But we have Batista Undertaker versus Undertaker, Chris Benoit versus JPL. So main event. Backstage rolls 4 bars of... I do hardcore 4 stars. TLC is 3. You probably could just book a bunch of table matches and it doesn't really make a difference. We'll do Ultimate Submission again between Chris Benoit and JBL. Because submission, guys, you know, Chris Benoit submission dude. So do that. Batista vs Undertaker. We can do effectively. We'll just, you know, again, TLC doesn't really matter. We'll just call this a hardcore match. It effectively is a hardcore match anyway. These are the important rivalries, so again, an option we have here is if we do... I don't really know why a 6-man over the top rope is so expensive and, like, does 4 bars of fatigue. I really don't know. I guess that's just because, you know, Battle Royals are grandiose and they're rated highly, so they just have them fatigue and expensive. Really doesn't make sense. Fatal 4-way is probably the better option, so we put in all of our cruiserweights. Christian, and we should have another... We got Chavo. So Booker T and Muhammad Hassan won't be booked, but it doesn't matter because the rivalry is backed down anyway. I guess the other thing we can technically do is, I guess, just make a 6-man tag, which is kind of dumb. I guess we could just do that anyway. It probably doesn't matter much. Ray, Rick, Muhammad Hassan, and then put the other guys and the losers on the other side. This really is just to keep these rivalries going, and I mean, we'll just make Chavo make the right side lose so that the left side goes up. Again, you probably, like, if I was managing things pretty, like, better off, you know, you could probably put, like, a Fatal 4-way or 6-man, Battle Royal if you wanted to for, like, the Cruiserweight title, but again, 5 people would lose and really suck. This way, 3 people win, 3 people lose instead of 1 person win and 5 people lose. So even though it's, like, not a Cruiserweight title, it doesn't really matter that much. All these other, like, legends and stuff are way more important. So, I'm gonna go ahead. We want to simulate all these results. And Chavo losing, that's the important thing here, because that guy is a jobber. In this context, he's got like 2 weeks left on his contract, and we're trying to put Muhammad Hassan over. Everything else really doesn't matter. Just make sure you, you know, keep an eye on who your tag team champions are. Bret Hart, Mankind, tag team champions. Andre the Giant is still US champion, and Steve Austin won the World Heavyweight Championship from The Rock in a First Blood match. That's pretty cool. So, look at this. Look at the top of the screen. Fan change, Smackdown. Look at this. Plus 1 million. Plus 1 million. Can you believe that? Plus 1 million. That is unbelievable. So, something I need to talk about when you have a lot of fans is actually, there is a rubber banding mechanic. There is... I believe how this works is once you have... I'll explain actually in the screen. Okay, so let's go to reports, fan support. So, you notice I'm at 6 million now, and Raw is 4,000 or lower. I believe when the gap is 2 million, again, it's always inverse, so if you have 6 million, the opponent will have 4 million, or if you have somehow 7 million, the opponent will have 3 million. It's always, the two numbers will equal 10 million. Basically, how I believe rubber banding works, there is rubber banding mechanic in this game as far as I know. How I believe it works is once the side has 6 million or above, then the side that's lower, the side that's 4 million or below, will just get plus 100,000 fans every week. So you don't actually really want to go like 6 million or above. You really don't. You actually want to stay as close to 6 million as possible and try to just manage your money, because now it's going to rubber band back to a gap of less than 2 million. I don't know if this is 100% true, but as far as I'm aware, this is how it works. Because otherwise it just is really unnatural. I will book the same thing that I normally do, but Raw will always win and always get more fans, and it makes no sense. They'll book shitty shows, I'll book the best show possible, and they will gain fans. So at this point, you want to kind of chill the fuck out again. Don't book big matches. You've already booked all your big matches. Just book singles matches and boring stuff again. Manage your money. And, yeah. Speaking of managing money, let's view our roster. Look at our morale. Christian wants to win. Hulk Hogan wants to win. So, again, in the notepad, we'll go Christian wants to win. Hulk Hogan wants to win. Contract-wise, we're going to look at everyone we want to keep at 5 weeks, and we're going to give them decent contracts. We want to save a bit of money because we're going to want to hire our legends, so I wouldn't really do more than 3-month contracts for any of these guys. 3 months looks good. I'm only doing this so I don't have to worry about them. We still got a decent amount of money, but again, we really want to rehire our legends. We've got 2 months to do it, but we're going to need millions to rehire these guys. It's really important. So we're going to still save money. We'll still be saving money. Chavo is about to expire. Now, again, if you go to propose trades, it'll just basically show you what's up with the enemy roster. And they don't really have anyone low enough popularity to do this trick anymore unless we trade someone who's higher for someone else. So, like, eventually, you know, in 4 weeks' time, or I guess what we can do, yeah, what we do is just wait until Muhammad Hassan has, like, 1 week left and then try and trade him for someone. Because when he's going to be in his, like, popularity, like, 70 and upwards, we can probably trade him for someone, like, pretty decent. And what we'll do then is look at the opponent, like, see who their highest popularity cruiserweight is. Because if we hire someone like Shawn Michaels, that guy can do everything. We can put him in World Heavyweight title main events. You can fantasy book him against Bret Hart or whoever. But you can also put him in, like, cruiserweight title matches. So you can have him win the cruiserweight title all the time. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but, like, you wouldn't do that if you were fantasy booking real stuff. And you wouldn't, like, I don't think he won that title. It's kind of funny, but it just gives that guy a championship while you still have a World Heavyweight Championship belt around your other, like, legends and US titles still. So, you know, you can eventually book stuff like Shawn Michaels versus, like, Ric Flair for the Cruiserweight title, and it's basically like they're having just championship matches every week. It's kind of funny. But yeah, when Chavo expires, we're going to have to hire a new jobber. I mean, you can extend this guy's contract, but really, again, the mission is to just put Muhammad Hassan over and eventually give that guy up. I mean, you don't have to, but, you know, you don't have to do this, but I don't really care much about Muhammad Hassan. I'd rather trade him for, like, a cruiserweight, you know, so I can do more with him. I can do everything with the cruiserweight that I can do with this guy, except I can also put them in cruiserweight title matches. That's the important thing. Alright, so you can see our guys are pretty fatigued. Like, not really that fatigued, but that's kind of why we put them in those matches. So we've got 4 guys with 90 or above, and then another 6 guys with 80, and then another 3 guys with 70 or above, which is pretty good. It's a pretty fucking stacked roster. As I said, though, rubber banding's going to kick in, so what we need to do is just maintain rivalries. Chris Benoit JBL thumbs down, so we're going to break that up. Chris Benoit and JBL, we absolutely need to break them up, and Muhammad Hassan and Chavo weren't... Oh, they were booked. That's right. I put the tag team match in there. So that's... Something else we could do is change this rivalry up. Anything that's like a low amount, like, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty inconsequential to break up. Christian and Rey Mysterio. We could put them in a rivalry with these two, but then they can't have cruiserweight matches, so... we probably want to break up this rivalry, actually, the 3 weeks. The Chavo one, it's going to break up in 2 weeks anyways. So now we can do is, like, Chris Benoit versus Muhammad Hassan. And then we'll use Chavo to job out to JBL for a couple weeks until his contract expires. So these are new rivalries we want to start. I'm going to mark that, start these rivalries. And, of course, we've got to think about who else is going to be broken up. So, Eddie and Randy actually... you know what? We probably should use these guys because they're going to be thumbs down next week, probably at 8 weeks. So, yeah, I'm actually going to revert what I've done. I'll still use Muhammad Hassan to put down... Chavo to put over Muhammad Hassan until he's gone. their rivalry should last. Now, Randy versus Eddie, we'll split them up preemptively and just put them in rivalries with Chris Benoit and JBL. So, I'm going to put Eddie with Chris Benoit, because now, if I put those guys in submission matches, they probably will get decent ratings. I'll just do Randy versus JBL, just because they're the other two. And everyone else is, seems fine. I mean, Undertaker and Batista probably could last a little bit longer. Probably. Again, we can hire some random jobber to break those guys up and have something like Batista versus Muhammad Hassan in a couple weeks, then Undertaker versus, like, I don't know, we can hire someone like Heidenreich. That'll be like a... I mean, that was a real thing in 2005, right? That was kind of funny. Heidenreich and Undertaker. We'll just do that and then have Undertaker beat Heidenreich 5 weeks in a row. And then change things up then. Again, in like a month's time, we're going to have to break up these legend rivalries and mix those guys up. So keep in mind whoever has about the same week period, these guys. Eventually, they're going to be 2 thumbs up. And then as they get close to like the 9-week or 10-week mark, you can break them up and then, you know, just switch them up. Like put Steve Austin in a rivalry with Bret Hart, Mankind in a rivalry with Andre the Giant, then Hulk Hogan in a rivalry with The Rock. Like something like that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, we want to build up money. I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist by now, but I am going to play a few more weeks out just to kind of show you what we're going to be doing and renew our contracts and stuff like that. So, fan support's pretty good. We don't have the pay-per-view in until another 2 weeks, so... 2 months. So what you actually could do is, you can start all your new rivalries now if you really wanted to. Just break them all up and put them in singles matches, and then when it comes to this show, you have like 2 thumbs up rivalries. That's something you can do, but I'm not gonna bother. I'm gonna like basically keep, you know, start new rivalries and then keep the legends going because they'll pay off. So again, advertising, we just really want to advertise, and again, we want to start the rivalries with JBL, Randy. That's important, we start those rivalries before we forget. So Randy and JBL, we'll start that rivalry. Just put him in singles match and start a rivalry. I didn't mention that, but the game does tell you that, so that's why I didn't mention that. And then Eddie versus Chris. And then, so that'll stop. And you can just start this rivalry and then have Eddie and Chris as a tag team. And just make them fighting for the tag team titles. And, I will put Undertaker and Batista on the same team and give them a win versus Muhammad Hassan and Chavo. Doesn't really matter if Muhammad Hassan loses one match. This just gives Batista and Undertaker a win, so they're less likely to complain and be upset. I need to start a rivalry with Ric Flair and Booker T, I think. They don't have a rivalry currently. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll go Ric Flair versus Booker T. So that starts a rivalry between them, and then we just start putting in matches together. And then we want to book like all of our main event guys still, so we will do single with manager versus with manager. Actually, we'll not do tag team here. We'll do Bret Hart, Mankind. They can defend the titles again. We'll do them with, I guess, Andre and Hulk Hogan. Now remember, we have the US title on Andre, so we probably don't want to have Andre holding 2 titles. That'll make things annoying. We probably don't really want to do this. But we just kind of want a stacked match. So, the main event we'll do Christian and Ray managing The Rock and Steve Austin. And again, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but really the goal here is to just keep people in a rivalry in the same match. So it seems really random. Like, no one would ever book this match. This just makes no sense, but yeah. Again, advertising. We're starting rivalry with Booker T and Ric Flair, and we're starting rivalry with Eddie, Chris, and JBL and Randy Orton. Because one of them has thumbs down and the other one's about to expire because it's like 8 weeks. And then the rest, we just want to make sure that they're the same rivalry. F1, it's a quick save on the emulator, and we just want to make sure that the right people win. This works. Again, as long as Undertaker Batista, as long as Chavo lost, that's like the only person who's really like dropping out. Everyone else is fine. We didn't want these guys to win the tag team, though. I don't want Andre and Hulk to win. Because otherwise Andre would have 2 titles that way. So we'll do this, simulate it, and yeah. We're good. The Rock is the World Heavyweight Champion now, so I need to... We're giving The Rock and Steve Austin a lot of championships here. They're going to be like 50-time champions by the end of the year. Okay. New champion, there you go. Fan change Raw. So, there you go, see? So we have a massive, like we have a fucking stacked roster, and then Raw gains 160,000 fans, and that's purely because we have 6 million, or we had over 6 million at the start of this, so the rubber banding will just give the other side a free 100,000. And I actually do believe if you somehow manage to get like 7 million or above fans, the rubber banding does go even harder. I do believe the difference is 200,000, but it's really hard to actually get, like, to achieve that if you're not actually trying. I think that's just, again, if you're like playing 2-player or something like that. So we go view roster, and now, so at this point, I think this might be the, maybe this is like the last week we'll do. I'll just basically go through something here. So Chavo is about to disappear. So after he is gone, you can go free agency and just hire anyone. And whoever you hire, you can just have them job out and lose matches. What you actually can do is just literally hire the cheapest guy, you know, 5-week contract is 60k, like that's nothing. And then just job Stevie Richards out to Muhammad Hassan for 5 weeks and just pump up. Just inflate the popularity of Muhammad Hassan and just keep doing this until the jobbers get to like 0 popularity and just hire someone else, like each time. 5 weeks of Stephen Richards losing, 5 weeks of Mark Jindrak losing, 5 weeks of Charlie Haas losing, etc., etc., etc. But if you notice, we're advertising, and now we go to sort out popularity the highest, and then we want to rehire, again, for like 6 months. You probably don't want to do 6 months to everyone. You want to be able to afford people still, but we already bought everyone else's contracts, so again, look at the lowest amount of contracts, and we have 5 legends who we want to hire, so basically, like, The Rock, we want to buy... You can do 3-month contracts, but actually do a 6-month contract, because otherwise it'll bite us on the ass. And this does work out 5k or 4.5k cheaper a week if we do this. So we'll do 6-month contracts. And then, again, in a week or two's time, we'll do another 6-month contract. And then towards the end, if we only have like 2 weeks to hire these guys, just buy whatever contract you can afford on the last guys. Chavo really doesn't matter. We'll just let him expire. Again, we can't really trade him for anyone significant. Muhammad Hassan, I wouldn't bother trading anyone unless they have like 1 week left and you trade him for someone like multiple weeks. That's the best way to trade. And I did mention that again in the first video. But yeah, you can see the roster is just completely stacked. It is really intense right now. If you propose trades, you can see the enemy only has 1 guy at 90, they have 2 guys at 80, and then they have 4 guys at 70. Whereas we've got 4 guys at 90, 6 guys at 80, 1 who's almost at 80, and yeah, 3 guys at 70. And it's just insane. There should be, really, the enemy should not be gaining anything over us, but there is definitely rubber banding in this game. There just has to be. It's, if you ever go to the fan support, you'll notice there will be a big spike like at the pay-per-views, and then it will just go down until another pay-per-view. It'll jump up, and then it'll go down, and then it'll be pay-per-view, blah, blah, like that. It'll all just be like that for the whole year, pretty much. So you want to maximize your pay-per-views, and then it will rubber band you down, and then you just have another spike at the pay-per-view. So, yeah. Look at that. That's our 5-star match was a tag team. Look at this, it's just crazy. Look at that, 4.5 stars, Batista versus The Undertaker. Crazy. And the 6-man tag was only 2.5, and that was our worst match, was 2.5. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I guess I don't really rate Ultimate Submission high. But, yeah. Ladder Tornado tag was 5 stars, because we had, like, 4 huge guys in it. So yeah, like at this point, what you really want to do is just manage your money, keep advertising, and then hire your legends. Again, you got 8 weeks, so basically every 2 weeks we could just buy a $1 million, like a 6-month contract for our legends, and then trade Muhammad Hassan for someone who has a bunch of stuff, and then renew Mankind's contract, and then we got, you know, you got a bunch of time between your legends and these guys to hire these guys. So what you can probably do is, again, every 2 weeks, every 1 or 2 weeks, just hire 6-month, or towards the end just do 3-month. In an emergency, like, only do the 5 week in an emergency if you really have no money and you really need to keep someone's contract. That's the only time you should be doing 5 weeks. Or if someone's unhappy because they want a contract extension, then just do 5 weeks and that'll shut them up for good. And, you know, trade Muhammad Hassan when you got 1 week left. Then you've got 4 weeks to think about renewing Mankind's contract and everyone else's. So 4 weeks, and then give Mankind like a 6-month contract or something like that, and then just hire all these guys for, I don't know, 3 months. Maybe you really should be advertising all the time. Anyways, I could probably keep going like with this, but I think I probably said everything that needs to be said. I've shown you all pay-per-view and everything like that, and there's nothing else I really need to demonstrate. When it comes to quickly go through some stuff just in case at the end, tie up some loose ends. When you get to these pay-per-views that are multi, like you get 3 matches each, that's when I think you should be booking your 6-man battle royals and stuff like that. That's when I think you should be doing that, because that way, because you only have 3 matches, you can put 18 people in 3 matches if you do 6-man. Like, you do a match that's like a 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell, or that'll fatigue everyone, so be careful with that. You could do 6-man over the top battle royals. You can also do the ladder match, the triple threat tornado tag ladder match, and then also, yeah, 6-man over the top battle royal, or battle royal for like the cruiserweight title or US title, whatever the fuck. And that's probably the best way, the best point to do that. And anytime you do like Survivor Series and stuff, just think about, you know, the guys in your rivalries, just put them in the same match. And Royal Rumble, I think, lets you do 2 matches together, and then WrestleMania is just 3 matches. But if you're doing what I'm telling you to do, even without the legends, you should be winning. Because eventually you'll go up and up and up and up and up, and then rubber banding will only kick in, and the penalty, you'll only get a penalty if you're like 6 million and above. And you can do that without legends, it's just fun to hire legends. Anyways, that's going to be it for this part 2. That was actually a lot longer than I thought it would be. Even though the first part was like an hour long, it's 50 minutes, and I thought this was going to be like a 10-minute video. That's enough. Really, I don't need to demonstrate any more than this. I think 2 hours of information and going through things is probably enough, or just short of 2 hours. It's like a whole Smackdown episode, you know, almost 2 hours. So I hope this was an informative video and explained anything that, like, the part 1 didn't, and, yeah. That's probably the only videos I'm actually going to do of this game, because that's all there really is to really talk about, I think. So, yeah. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys later.